Hello everybody. Welcome to our second Heidi Swap watch party. Welcome from wherever it is in the world that you are coming from. I'm so happy to see you popping in and joining. Make sure that you're saying hi, commenting, so that will enter you to win our giveaway. So the giveaway will be posted right there on the watch party, and so you will be able to enter, comment to win. So good luck for that. You guys, I know it is a crazy time in the world as we're all kind of hunkered down and really experiencing life like we have never experienced it before. But what is kind of awesome about it is that we can still craft, right? And that, most of us probably have tons of supplies, tons of things that we can play with, maybe even things that we haven't been able to get to, right? So now is the time. If you want to join along with me and with American Crafts and with all the American Crafts brands, and when you make a project and post it, hashtag handmade at home and scrap en casa. And then we'll be able to share and see each other's work. And as always, if you're using Heidi Swap product, I would love it if you did hashtag Heidi Swap so that I can see it. I follow that hashtag, and I love to be able to see your creations, what you make, what you're excited about. And you guys always inspire me. So I would love that if you would do it. All right, you guys, today, before I kick off and share what we're going to talk about, first kind of wanted to share a little bit of a tip. And this is something new for me, but it's working out really well. So this is just a little box that I picked up. I believe I picked it up at Michael's or at JOANN. It's just a 12-inch this way, and it's a little bit shorter this way. But it's perfect for me to stick everything from one collection into. And so, depending on how you like to organize things, which I would actually love to know. Do you like to organize things by collection? Do you purchase things by collection? Or do you like to organize by like alphabets, ephemera, stamps, embellishments, that kind of thing? So I would love to know how you organize. For me, I like to keep all of one particular collection together, because usually if I'm crafting with that, I know what's in that collection and I can reach for it. Or, if I'm trying to share a certain technique or whatever, and I need to use that collection, then I kind of have it all here. So what's been great is it's not very organized inside here. You guys, I've got stickers, I've got tags, I've got little pieces of paper, and this is just such a great way to not take a lot of time, because you guys, you know this about me, I'm not very organized, but I can stick it all in, and now it can be on the go. I actually stick it into my cubes. I have IKEA cubes, storage cubes, and that's where I just kind of stack up several of these. They also fit onto the paper trays that I have, so I can tuck them inside there as well. So that's just one kind of tip that I wanted to share. I would love it if you guys would share one or two favorite organizing tips that you have. There's a couple things that I'm trying to figure out how to organize, and one of them is dies. So we just launched a new set of dies that we did kind of in partnership with We Are Memory Keepers, and this particular one is exclusive. It's exclusive at JOANN, and so I'm pretty sure that's the only place you can get it. But it's got this fun, like this monstera leaf, and this other big fun kind of tropical vibe leaf. So cool. And then it also has my most favorite word, and I have to just kind of be careful pulling it off the packaging here. I haven't even used it yet, but it says hello. It's a Heidi hello. And I'll be completely honest with you guys, I don't have a lot of actual dies. So I would love to know what your solutions are to storing them, to organizing them, and what your favorite types of dyes are. I would love to know what dye machine that you're using. I actually have the We Are Evolution, and it's down there, and actually We Are just rolled out a new die cutting machine that is even more fabulous, and it's called the Revolution. So anyway, these are the two dyes, and there's also, I don't know, I'm kind of off on a tangent right now, sorry, so forgive me. There's also two new, sorry, these embossing folders. And one of them is just this big fern, which is just beautiful. And the other one is just like a whole series of the Monstera leaf. Super pretty. So I'm kind of excited to play with those. All right, you guys, so I would love for you, like I said, I would love to know what die cutting machine that you use, and if you have any tips for me for organizing those. Now, speaking of tips, I wanted to share one more tip with you that I have just barely discovered. Okay, so we have these new pads, paper pads, and we have them. This is the 6x8 paper pad, which is great for making cards, and I love using them with my. We also have these Storyline Chapters project pads, and the reason why we chose this size, this is a little bit different size. It's like almost an 8x10, a little bit smaller, so that it actually goes right onto a Storyline Chapters book. So that if you're wanting, I don't have the one right here that I wanted to share, darn it. If you're wanting to cover an entire page, this would be the exact same size. But what happens if you are using it and maybe you only want to use part of a paper, right? And let's say you're not going to use an entire paper. Well, this idea actually, I love. This came from a suggestion, and I want to pass it on. So here we go. Now I'm going to show you this little tip with just a regular piece of computer copy paper. And what I'm going to do is I actually want to create a pocket on the inside back of this paper pad so that I can tuck any of my little extra scraps, and it keeps it all within the paper pad. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. All right, so I'm going to want it to be about the width of this, which is 6 inches wide by 8. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this to, I'm going to cut it to 7 inches. I'm going to cut it to 8 inches wide. That will make our math easier. And then I'm going to cut it to 4 inches tall. So I've now cut it's 8 inches tall. It's 8 inches wide by 4 inches tall. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm actually gonna use a scoring tool, and I'm just going to use my trimmer to do this scoring. So on the sides, I'm going to score it 1 inch in, and on the bottom, I'm just going to score it 1/2 inch. So you can really decide what dimension you want this pocket to be, and you'll see in a minute. So we've got 1 inch on the side. That will take us down to our 6 inches wide, right? If I'm doing my math correctly, which is hard for me to do on the fly here. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and score this down. I'm actually going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. Just gives me a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm just going to fold that 3/4 of an inch. And you guys, I'm always using a bone folder. That's kind of one of my go-to things. Okay, now I need a pair of scissors. And what I'm actually going to do in order to create this pocket is I'm going to cut on a diagonal straight through where those two lines intersect. So pretty much like a 45-degree angle. let's see if you can see that a little bit closer. So this is where the fold lines intersect. Actually, let me just draw it, and then that will be easier for you to see, right? So sometimes it's easier to just draw it. So I just marked that with an orange pencil. So you can see that diagonal line that cuts right through that little 90-degree that we folded. Okay, so now it's just gonna look like this. Okay, now fold in all these little sides, and this is what our pocket's gonna look like. And we're just gonna put it right onto the back inside of our paper pad. Now, obviously, if you, I have trouble. I have problemos. Hold on. Obviously, if you're doing like a 12 by 12 paper pad, then you're gonna wanna make this pocket wider to accommodate that paper pad. So I'm just gonna glue these flaps down. I'm just using a little sticky thumb runner. This is an American Crafts sticky thumb runner. I really like it. It's a cute little dependable little guy. So you can see here that I folded all those pieces in, and now I'm just gonna align it with the two corners, just like that. And we'll make sure that it's down really well. And now I just have this sweet little pocket that I can, let's say that you've got some, and this one isn't really a scrap because I just ripped it out. But let's say that I have a piece of scrap and I just want to tuck it in. Now I can keep these scraps handy and I can keep it all together with my paper pad. Isn't that so smart? So I love that. Super easy way to get some control of your paper pads and all of your scraps. Okay, now moving on. Let's get to kind of what I wanted to talk about. Now I have done lots of asking of questions like, what do people want to learn and what are you interested in? And so one of the biggest things that I'm getting asked about is, of course, the toner ink and the MINC and the foils and all the different ways that we can add foils to our projects. So I'm actually going to show you two different ways. I'm going to talk about the brand new texture paste. So there's clear texture paste and there's also white texture paste. So these two are both reactive with MINC. So we're gonna kind of play around with those as well as show you some new stencils that are in my art walk collection. And then we're also gonna talk about the MINC Toner Ink. And I'm gonna share exactly how to fill the pad and exactly how to go about stamping, okay? So I'm trying to decide which one to do first because they both need a couple of minutes. But I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with the texture paste. Now, no matter what medium you use, you have to make sure that it dries completely before you run it through the MINC. So that's why we're gonna want to give it a little bit of time to dry before we use it and before I demonstrate it to you. I'm just pulling out one of my favorite pieces of the Art Walk collection. Now, what's really fun about the Art Walk collection is that it's made from original art. So all of the papers, well, most all the papers are hand painted, and I just think that they turned out so pretty. So I'm just gonna go ahead and gear up to make a card. I lost my bone folder, guys. I'm I'm just gonna go ahead and fold the card, fold it over, and we're just gonna have a little bit of extra kind of hang over, and I'll show you why we need that in a little bit. But let me just show you guys, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, but this package of stencils actually comes with 10 different designs. And so here's what's cool is that these stencils are made out of paper. And it's kind of a glossy paper, so you can use them over and over, especially once they dry. You can reuse them again. So this one says, enjoy the now. This one says, you are fabulous. I love you. This one is a personal favorite because it's like this whole collage of words that I love. This one is also super cool. Just a big fern leaf. There's also kind of some patterns. There's the big monstera leaf in there. Can you tell that I love that? And then tell your story, polka dots, and then this one that says everything is going to be okay. You probably have seen me use this because I really love it. So this is actually the one that I'm going to use. Now I'm gonna grab a little scraper that I have that I use a lot. It's from my screen printing kit. So if you have one of those, you might have one. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna use the clear texture paste. It doesn't matter if you use clear or white. The reason why we did clear or white is actually in case you don't foil it. So you have some that are clear and some that are white. You can also mix the white ones with different mediums, which is cool. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna open this up and I'm actually going to add this everything is gonna be okay sentiment right on top of the card, okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do and then I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna pick up some of the texture paste and I'm just gonna scrape it all into this stencil. And then what I wanna do is I wanna scrape off any extra texture paste and then lift this straight up and then we're gonna set it aside to dry. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I picked some up. I'm just running it straight on over the whole sentiment. And I just want to make sure that I've filled up all the pieces, then I lift it straight up, and hopefully you're kind of going to be able to see that in the glare. Here's the great thing, is that when you do texture paste, and I should probably do one more just because I have some extra texture paste. When you do stuff with the texture paste and the stencil, you don't have to worry about it like going underneath and being difficult. Like this is, the texture paste doesn't like run underneath, and you really get amazing results every time. Okay, so I just did another one here. And what I want to do, I'm going to set this stencil aside to dry, but I want to make sure that I get as much of the texture paste off it as I can. I'm using my non-stick craft mat, which is actually a non-stick. It's in the MINC section. So if you're looking for it, like at JOANN, if you're looking for it online, it's actually the Heidi Swapp MINC non-stick mat. And we're gonna wanna just make sure that we get that totally cleaned up, ready for our next project. Okay, our next project, which is the toner stamping ink, okay? So here's the deal. The toner ink comes in a bottle that looks like this super cute bottle. And, you know, we have been working on this for a long time, and really we wanted to create an ink pad that that was just like, you know, any old stamping ink pad. The problem is that the ink, in order to make it reactive with stamps and the MINC, it doesn't just stay in an ink pad. So you actually buy a case. Mine's a little dirty, so you guys have to forgive me. You buy a pad This pad is like, it's good for about 100 to 150 impressions is what I have found. But that usually has to be done in a short window of time, anywhere from 2 hours to, you might get as many as 6 to 12 hours if you put it in the case and keep it airtight. Okay, so you can buy these little refill pads. There comes 4 in a package. And then what you do is just pop the pad into the case. There's kind of these little grooves on the sides so that will hold the pad in place while you get ready to work on it. Okay, now the ink will come with a little measuring cup. And what we want to do is pour 15 milliliters of ink onto each pad. All right, that's kind of what we feel like is the magic number, but you want to kind of spread it all over the pad. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the little cup is 10 milliliters. So I'm going to measure it to 10, and then I'm going to have to go back and measure it to 5. Now, everybody does this differently. I like to hold the pad that I'm filling in my left hand, and I kind of like to pinch this little cup a little bit to give it a little bit of a spout. And I like to pour it kind of slow. And we want to pour this kind of evenly all over the entire pad. And it's going to kind of soak in, kind of soaks in slowly. And all right, we'll go back and get the other 5 milliliters. And we're going to go ahead and pour that back onto the pad. And I kind of use my secret to getting it to go everywhere is I kind of use the lip and those last few drops of the ink to kind of scrape it around the edge, just to kind of, you know, make sure that you fill up the whole entire ink pad. All right, then what you're going to want to do is put the lid back on your ink so that you don't spill it. We don't want to spill this stuff. We're going to want to clean this out, and we're going to want to put the lid on here. And I like to let this sit for about 15, 20, 30 minutes just to kind of, well, what happens is it gets a little bit sticky, actually. And the stickiness is what we need. So there's actually adhesive, like a binder inside this ink. And that's actually what is interacting with the foil and causing it to stick. So once it kind of gets in the pad and gets oxidized a little bit, then it starts to get ready to actually do the stamping. Okay, so I'm going to clean out this and I'll be right back. Okay, you should be able to see kind of up close that there's definitely this texture. As I touch it, it's still just a little bit sticky. I don't know if you can tell that, but we just really want to make sure that these are completely dry before we try adding any foil to them. So I like to just set them on top of my MINC, and it's the perfect place to just make the drying go a little bit faster. Okay, well, let's grab the MINC Stamping Ink. This has been sitting for about 15 minutes, so it's ready to go. I'm also going to grab some of these shipping tags. Now, these are from Office Max, and they're glossy on one side and kind of more matte or dull on the other side. You want to stamp on the dull side, but these are great because it's a very, very smooth surface, and I get really great success on this surface. This is a good place to start practicing. So these are stamps that are available from my MINC collection, and they work really well with the MINC ink. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it. You can tell that my stamps are not very clean. I'm not like a big stamp cleaner, so that's okay. It'll still work. I can still stamp with regular inks at the same time. Now you can see that I'm tapping several times, and you can also see here that I'm stamping onto like a scrap paper just to kind of see if it feels like it's ready. So I tap multiple times, and I can't really explain it, and that's why I tell people they kind of have to try it. But you'll kind of get a feel. It's not going to look like your typical perfect stamped image, but it's on there. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a couple more images. Kind of do this tap tap. It's very softly, like the pad is pretty squishy. So you just want to gently tap on it, because what happens is the ink kind of sticks to itself. Then when you press down, you kind of want to press down firmly so that it totally transfers off. Because remember, there's just a little bit of a binder or a stickiness to the ink itself. I usually, when I start stamping, I do like to just stamp at least one impression onto a scrap. Just kind of to feel, just get a feel how it's stamping. I don't know. Again, you kind of just have to get a little bit of its feel. It feels different. Like even when you look at it, once you do the tap, 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 and you pull it up and you look at it, what I'm actually looking for is, is there like liquid? Can I kind of see liquid on all parts of the stamp? It might not be all evenly black, but if it's, it's all kind of covered, then it should work. The other thing that I wanted to say is that if you push really hard on this pad, it really kind of fills up in the crevices of your stamp. You don't really want that to happen. So again, it's super gentle tapping right on the surface. Now, as you get going and the ink kind of gets thicker, sometimes I'll kind of use the stamp to press down harder on the stamp pad, which kind of gets the ink to gush up to the top a little bit. But that's kind of one of those things that you'll kind of start getting a feel for. Can you even see on that heart that there's kind of like darker parts and lighter parts? That's just because we're dealing with a liquid and not as much like an ink. All right, so I'm just getting a couple here going, and this is really what I recommend, that when you go and can you see that just a little bit of stickiness? See how it's just kind of pulling? Get several tags out, get a bunch of stamps out, and just start playing, because this playful process is what will get you used to the feeling of it. You'll start to understand how hard you have to tap on the stamp pad, how much pressure you've got to put onto the tags as you're stamping down, and how quickly you have to kind of get down and then back up off the paper, because it is, that adhesive-y feel to it, and so you kind of want to move fast. And that way, like, again, if you're stamping on a bunch of tags, getting the feel for it, having fun, you just never know what kind of happens with that creative process, and then you have more things to work with, obviously, when you start utilizing these pieces in an actual project. Now, one other thing that I wanted to mention is that it's kind of fun to take the ink pad and kind of create edging. There, I kind of got a lot on there. But, you know, you've done this before with your stamp pads where you just kind of get a little bit of color on the edge. Well, this is really fun because now you're going to get like these really cool foiled edges. So kind of play around with this look and feel and how much or how little it's going to take. Okay, so grab out some of your favorite foils. I've got the gold, I've got that new pink holographic, and the gold sparkly. And here, you know, you can have fun. What I'm going to show you as we do this is that you can run foil through multiple times. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this tag on the right with the pink and the tag on the left with the gold. And yes, I could cut it down so it's just over the tag, but it's also, once it comes out again, I can certainly reuse the portions that were not used. All right, I'm just going to kind of check. Looks like there's no tackiness as I run my finger over the texture paste. So these are good. They're going to be ready to foil when my tags are done. All right, while those tags are going through, you can always be getting ready for the next set of tags. I will admit to having quite a collection of foil. So it's always fun to kind of mix and match the foil options. All right, let's take a look. So, that looks awesome. The reveals are the best, right? But notice how I've got that strip of foil across the bottom. Turned out super fun. And the gold, again, nice and shiny there in the light. Turned out great. Okay, so let's go ahead and send these next two and see how I'm just using the same piece of foil. Sometimes when I get really small pieces of foil, then I don't know, it's just easier to just keep on using it. You can always use multiple pieces of foil, you know, if you kind of layer them. So here I'm layering the gold sparkly onto the heart. Well, I was going to put the gold sparkly onto the heart, and then I want to put this larger gold piece right over the top. This one has quite a bit of ink around the edges, so I just really want to make sure that everything's covered so that nothing ends up transferring onto my transfer folder. All right, just taking a look at it, and again, you guys, this just never, it just never gets old, right? The reveal is so fun. Like, look at those gold foiled edges. And that sparkly gold foil is like my favorite. Isn't that fun? And then just that cool little flower. I just added it on there because I didn't know if maybe I'd want to make some type of a little embellishment for a card or something. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and throw some holographic foil over the texture foil, the texture paste. And we're going to save the reveal till we're done here. So I've actually never tried the white foil, so this is pretty risky to do it here at this watch party, but you know, we're crazy. So there you go. You can see how beautifully it transfers. I love it. Now look on the O in going and see how it's just a little bit pulled down. that must not have completely been dry, because that's what happens when it doesn't dry. All right, you guys, hopefully this works. I'm finding that it's a little stickier than normal foil. The white's a little different anyway. Oh, and I got a little bit of damage there, but I think all in all, it worked pretty good. And you know what's fun about this Art Walk paper is that it's super arty and imperfect, and so I think that just actually adds to it. Super cool. So, you know, with it being all the pandemic and everything, I think this is a perfect card to share with somebody. You know, drop a little card off on somebody's porch. So I'll go ahead and take any one of these little tags and pop them on the inside. You know, as I mentioned, I like to just kind of create extra bits out of things that I'm randomly stamping. And so, I don't know, I'm actually just kind of playing around here. I'm going to add this string back in the tags. They actually come with the strings in them, and you can send the strings through the MINC. You just want to make sure that it's not overlapping any foil or anything like that. I think I'm going to put some pop dots on the back of this tag and just give it a little bit of dimension on the inside of the card. So I think that's some good wow factor there on the inside. I kind of trimmed out this flower, not knowing exactly how I was going to use it. I kind of try tying it on there, and I don't like it. So I go ahead and cut the rest of the flower out, and I just kind of try it in a couple different places. You know, do I like it sticking under the main tag? Do I want to put it on the front? Do I want to put on the inside? So you get some, I'm just going to put some pop dots on the back here. I don't know, where would you put it? I'm just going to layer it right here on top of the tag. That looks good. All right, lots of wow factor here inside this cute little card. I sewed the edges so that the front would tuck in, and I think it's super cute. Okay, so we've got some fun texture ideas, we've got some fun stamping ideas. Just, you know, play, have fun, experiment. Okay, guys, this has been super fun, and I'm so glad that you joined me. And thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for sharing your organization tips, especially for the dies. I cannot wait. Now that we're done, I'm going to be able to read all the comments. We're going to be able to choose a winner, and I just love interacting with you guys. Next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay home, and make pretty stuff.